Investigation number 9. It's called reactions. The goal in this investigation is to conduct reactions and use atom models and chemical formulas to represent reactions and equations. So chemical reactions is investigation 9, and what we'll do in investigation 9, which was a little bit different than investigations 1 and 2 when we did learn about chemical reactions. In investigation 9 we're going to look at atoms, what happens with atoms and how the atoms play into the chemical formulas and chemical equations. So I've posted a couple things here on this page, and we can see if we have hydrogens bonded together and then a couple oxygens, those are 2 atoms of hydrogen, 2 atoms of hydrogen, and 2 atoms of oxygen. What can happen with atoms of certain elements is they will find ways to bond to each other. So we'll talk about bonding in terms of reactions. So we have what we call reactants and products. So just like in math, when you multiply 2 numbers and you get a product, it's sort of similar when we're talking about chemistry. So we have a couple different views, and what you'll notice with these views of atoms represented by letters or little round balls, what you'll notice is that what goes in equals what comes out the other side. Okay, it just determines who's attached to who. But if you have 2 go in, 2 come out, 3 go in, 3 come out, and we'll look at that in investigation 9. Do some reactions in class and some kind of fun things with some magnets that we have and some stickers. So we'll be building after we understand reactions. We'll look at the equations and individual molecules that are made through these reactions. The notes for investigation 9 that I want you to get into your spiral. Five main notes for investigation 9. Number 1, atoms are the fundamental particles of elements. And we learned about the periodic table earlier. The smallest part of any element that's still that element is an atom. Yes, there are parts to an atom that are actually smaller than the individual atom, but atoms are the fundamental particle of elements. Number 2, a compound is a substance composed of 2 or more different kinds of atoms. So we'll go from atoms to compounds. Atoms combine to make particles of substances. Atoms combine to make particles of substances called molecules. Number 4, molecules are held together by attractive forces called bonds. And number 5, a chemical reaction is a process in which the atoms of substances, called the reactants, rearrange to form new substances called products. So down below here, I have pictures of a molecule of carbon dioxide, a molecule of sugar, and a molecule of water. And those molecules are made up of atoms, and they're bonded together to make molecules. Over here, this is an example of a chemical equation. And what goes in on this side, the number of atoms will match the number of atoms that come out the other side. So we have the reactants and the products, and we'll look at this closely in class. Up at the top I put a picture of a couple matches burning. Down below I put a picture, a model of an atom, if we could actually see an atom. So pause the video and get these notes down in your spiral notebook. So on this page, just as a reminder, and we'll be looking at this again, the periodic table is made up of elements. Each element is made up of atoms that have a certain number of electrons, protons, and neutrons, and that's what we'll be learning about in this Investigation 9 as well. And then different types of atoms can bond to make molecules, and these are some different pictures of molecules. Lastly, I would like you to, depending on what class you're in, if you're in period 2 science, I'd like you to go to Investigation 9 period 2.weebly, that should say .weebly.com. And if you're in period 3, Investigation 9 period 3.weebly.com. It's important that you go into the right period, because I have a blog out there that I want you to respond to. I have a question on the blog I want you to respond to, and I only want you to respond to your individual classroom. Otherwise we'll have too many people. 60 kids is too many to keep track of on one blog. So I've set them up period 2 and then period 3. So we'll go and get a chance to do some stuff with a couple websites that I've made. So these were the notes for Investigation 9. Put them into your spiral notebook and we'll get going on this investigation.